Welcome back. Well, a lot going on. A tropical storm making landfall overnight tonight just to the west of Acadiana. But the biggest takeaway after 4 or 5 days of worrying about a big, widespread rainfall, we think that is less likely. We're going to have some locally heavy rains and big rains just to the west of us, so we still have to watch things closely through tonight into tomorrow. But after that, the weather lab may get off that 24-hour watch we've been on since last Friday. So let's take a look at the big picture. And this has been the saving grace with respect to Harvey. Drier air getting entrained into the system from Texas into the southwest and then working its way into the eastern quadrant of this storm. This is up at 18,000 feet, so we're looking at the upper level features. Now, mind you, the center of Harvey's right down here. We have shear, southwesterly shear, so actually surprising that it just increased a little bit in intensity this afternoon. We'll talk more about that in just a bit. Blinding heavy rainfall, flooding rainfall continuing upper Texas coast, southeast Texas. They're getting pounded as hard as Houston did a couple of days ago. Houston pretty much getting out of the zone of heavy rainfall. And locally, we've had tropical rain bands across the area, but more scattered in nature thanks to that drier air that's moved in across the area. So on and off tropical showers, and with daytime heating, maybe an isolated tornado or two, and that's what we're seeing right now. Tornado warning coming across Acadia Parish. This should be renewed shortly because the cell is just about out of the warning area, but we did have a report north of Kaplan of a tornado that more than likely, at least the funnel cloud went through southern portions of Acadia Parish and now is working its way into toward Jeff Davis Parish. In fact, we'll take a look at this right now, and we'll go ahead and stop the data first off. And once we stop the data, this is the cell that we're looking at right here. So let's look at the velocity data. And right here, you can see that, and we're going to put this in motion here. You can see there's the possibility. This is just a few minutes old. Something crossing I-10 right now, and now moving to the north. So we go back to our Power Doppler HD here, and we'll zoom on in on this cell. And boy, this shows up very, very nicely. This cell that might have this circulation just north of the frontage road area here in portions of the extreme western portion of Acadia Parish. So it's moving off to the north. So who is that going to be affecting shortly? We'll zoom out a little bit here and show you that it's generally going to cross the river area and then move into eastern portions of Jeff Davis Parish shortly. So that's the cell that we're watching right now. We'll put it in motion once again, and here we go. Oops. Here we go again. Put that in motion if we can. No, we're not going to get to do that, so we'll come back and go back to the actual imagery. But this is the cell that we are watching right now. It has moved out of the tornado-warned area. Still looks like we got a circulation going on here. So north and east of Jennings, and then eastern Jeff Davis Parish. Be on the lookout for threatening weather. Get into an interior closet or bathroom if you can. Now, the latest image, and we'll just stop this, the latest image showing maybe not quite the tight circulation that we just saw, but there's likely a funnel cloud right here just crossing I-10. And there we go. Here's the new warning that has just come in from the National Weather Service. We'll query that and tell you it's in effect till 5:45 this afternoon. So that's how it goes. Sometimes we see these cells and we see those tornado warnings come in as the cells move along. So take a look at the sweeps here. We'll get rid of some of this. And again, looking at the National Weather Service radar versus the Katc radar, that's the cell that we're concerned with. Tornado warning going into eastern Jeff Davis Parish. A lot more to cover. On top of that, we still have the flood warnings, flood watch across all of Acadiana through tonight into tomorrow. But the good news is the heaviest rainfall back across Texas. Here's where the flood warnings are. It's still just Lake Charles on westward into southeast Texas. This is where the big rains continue to be late this afternoon. And again, that flood warning in effect till this evening, more than likely getting extended overnight tonight, because this is where more heavy rains are on the way. Infrared satellite imagery showing some big rain bands well to the east of us. The dry air making a big difference on some of the tropical cells moving on through, but we still have that spin in the atmosphere, thus that tornado warning that's going right now into eastern western Jeff Davis Parish. Center of Tropical Storm Harvey just offshore and south of the main convection, but hurricane hunters got in here today. We see a little bit in the way of thunderstorms blossoming out, so current sustained winds at 50. Fortunately, this is the biggest story. It's moving better than just walking pace north-northeast at 6. Will make landfall overnight tonight, move through southwest Louisiana, then up towards central Louisiana, and weaken after that. So what are the things that we have going on right now? Tropical storm warnings, coastal parishes, Jeff Davis and Calcasieu have been added to that. Tropical storm warnings mean sustained winds better than 39, possibly gusts 40, 45, and some of those heavier squalls. Now, along the coast, this is the storm surge forecast. Tides 2 to 3 feet above normal, so we're in the green right here, so shouldn't be too terribly bad, but notice the tides will be just as high through all of Vermilion Parish, through Vermilion Bay, and got to remember that blocks the water. Here's the Vermilion. That blocks the water from exiting the Vermilion, so we're going to be on the lookout for those heavy rains, and that continues all the way over through St. Mary Parish. As for wind forecast, it's going to be breezy out of the south tonight, overnight tonight. Gusts to 35 or 40. You can see the center of circulation right here. Gusts out of the north, gusts out of the southeast of the system, and then as we continue on through the day tomorrow, gusty winds. These are wind gusts, and in a tropical squall, we might see a few gusts to about 30 or 45. Then winds die down tomorrow night. Here's the rainfall. Predictive radar not showing a whole lot in the way of organized rains. That's all back to the west. That's where the flooding is going to be overnight tonight, and we see that on future cast as well. So scattered showers tomorrow, overnight tonight, tomorrow at 80 to 90%. The flooding rains mainly north and northwestern quadrant of Harvey as it continues to move inland tomorrow. Blustery day, yes, but severe weather and flooding rainfall likely not. And here are the rainfall totals. Generally, we'll say 2 to 6 for most of Acadiana. Higher amounts developing off to the north and west, and this is where the flooding is going to be through tomorrow morning. Anywhere between 7 and 10 inches of rainfall will be a distinct possibility for our friends to the west. So storm surge watch along the coast. Plan for additional 2 to 6, which is not too bad unless 6 comes in 1 hour. Possible in spots. Winds won't be too bad, but they'll be gusty tomorrow. Tornado threat down to marginal from here on out after tonight. So that's the good news. 10-day forecast. I know I'm going over time-wise, but got a lot to cover today with that tornado warning. After tomorrow, looks like a quiet forecast as we go into the weekend. Rain chances, though, ramping back up as we go into the middle part of next week. And I have to mention this European model, like, say, tropical depression or a storm developing in the Gulf of Mexico along about a week from today. So we'll see. Might see.